features, or the upcoming events, or projects or contests or things that you're running for your customers to get them involved with each other. And why? Why do your customers keep coming back? Who is your oldest customer, and how is your company like so a part of their life? How are your customers meeting new people that help them? What's the community like? And what is something like habit-wise that your customers are consistently doing because they have your product in their life? And at the end of the day, how do they feel about themselves because of your business? What have you solved for them? What have you what problem have you addressed and solved for them? So hopefully you have a kind of an exciting image in your mind. Does anybody want to just speak out about like something exciting, what 2030 looks like with your business?
I see the gender gap in all I was STEM that I like, for example, like computer science being like 70-30 or 60-40 instead of like 80-20, and like people have more of a community they can connect to, and like they feel less alone, and they have people that they can reach out to talk about what they're going through and the problems and stuff.
Right. Like picturing that interaction between like a STEM like lady or like an older woman, and like they can feel like connected to each other. That's a really cool like thing to picture. James, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I think the main thing for me is like mindset. I think like if I'm looking like an ideal world, what I would want is for people to just be think a lot more positively about their education. So ultimately they'll end up with that mindset, they'll end up doing better.
Nice.
For me, it was mainly looking at like people having that sort of self-independence and self-reliance, like even after they like come out of prison, or like no matter like what sort of trouble they've got into when they were young, they have that confidence in their potential and their future.
I love that you guys are thinking about like individuals so much. I'm like the same way in some scale. But it's also like Buchan for yours, like thinking about like the whole system of like who's going in and out of jail, how does that affect like certain communities, right? And like all that is good. That's like really cool that would be who the big picture, who's it impacted as well. Sorry, I hope that makes sense, but I'm just really inspired by yours. Okay. Sham, do you want to say anything else, or does anybody else want to share before we go into the next part?
In my idea, basically, the people would be benefiting from it. Society would be benefiting from it because everyone would be, engaged in the conversation of what's happening and being able to agree on facts again, because there's not much jumble into two or more different sources that everyone's listening to. It's more like you can challenge each other and what each other think and come to a logical conclusion based on that, and talking to a community. And people will communicate better and more often because of that, and people will be more engaged with each other and more willing to reach negotiations and talking points. Older people will love it because they'll be able to look back in history and see things that they were around to see and they were around to think about, and be able to debate it with other people who have the same mindset, and even engage with older people as well. And I think that could really help your community because they sometimes struggle with engagement. I think that 2030 would be like really heavily impacted by my service because people won't have to go through rabbit holes and get sucked into bias and have to go to completely out their sources to get their news. They'll be able to get it at their fingertips and be able to rely on it and trust it because it's fact checked by people who think differently than them and by all the people around them.
I'm loving it too. I'm like, all these things that we're irritated with, like social media articles and news right now, like can be like eliminated. People, yeah.
For me, 2030 would be like, I just saw a report according to which youngsters are means the rate of youngsters in future is going to rise by 7%, that is of today. So if I get to succeed what I am thinking and what I really want, I think youngster will know the exact skill they require for what they really want to do in career before making themselves like, yeah, I want to do this, exactly this. They can go to other paths also without making some mistakes.
Okay. Should we move on? Unless Armita and Jaylene, do you also want to go and tell us a little bit?
I guess like for me, my goal is that people have like a new perspective on the education system holistically. So it's not just a means to getting a degree or something, so that they can like grow throughout that process and gain a lot more from it.
Good. Not just a means to getting a degree. We were talking
Yeah.
about yesterday too. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
It's less about like bragging which like certificate or school or this or that you have, but more about like, hey, I have this skill and this is what I just did. Like if there's a way to showcase that.
Yeah.
Something impactful you did at work instead of just like, I went to this university and got this degree.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. Hey, Jaylene.
Wait, but isn't the degree proof that you got that skill?
Well, what we've seen is that sometimes like it's not always a skill. A degree does not necessarily equate to a skill that's actionable in a job. And like Armit is trying to like be able to find ways to show people earlier that like these are the actual skills that you'll do in a job.
Yeah, but people choose their degrees based on the jobs that they're looking for. Like if you want a degree in philosophy, then you're probably going to be a philosopher and you choose that to gain that skill. So
I think for part of it, it's sort of like sometimes now when I do like, if I do like extracurriculars and things like that, I'm not doing it because I genuinely enjoy learning about that thing or being part of that club. I'm doing it because I know, oh, it's going to look good on my university application. So I think it's like doing things because it's a general interest and things like that, rather than doing it just because you think it's going to be like good for this or
again,
that.
that's not really a problem with the system. That's kind of how people think. Like if you want to do something in college, if you want to enjoy your job, then you're going to do something that you enjoy in and get a degree in that. Like if you like science a lot and you want to be a doctor, you're going to do STEM things for your degree and show that you have the skills for it. But if you're doing something just because it's going to look good on your degree, but you don't know which degree you actually want and will need in the job that you're pursuing, that's a problem on your behalf, on the behalf of the school system.
And I think that's like, yeah, go ahead, Jane.
It is like yes, it depends on what you're passionate about, but also not every degree gets a job with the same pay. Not every job pays the same. Like it's capitalism, whether we like it or not. So it's like a lot of it is less dependent on, like, I've seen a lot of people get a degree because it earns a lot, not because they enjoy the subject they're studying. Like, so I don't know if that's what she was referring to with her thing, but I think,
like, I completely see where you're coming from, because not everyone needs a philosopher and will pay a philosopher just to solve their problems. But if you like philosophy, you should get a degree in philosophy and be a philosopher. And you can find another degree in something else that you don't like but pays the bills. That's all.
See,
I
that's
think.
what I think there's to be a little more openness with like having an English degree or a philosophy degree could be recognized for some greatness in like working in a business role. Like we don't like, I think that ends up happening, but like it's too risky. People think like I must have this exact degree to get this exact job, but college should be about discovery a bit more as well. Like there's a lot like happening with like the balance of whether you're doing it for this like result for the recognition or whether you're doing it to like learn, and like you can kind of figure that out as you go, I guess.
Let's come back to this. This is a long discussion.
Okay. Yeah, we do have like 40 minutes. So we want to get you guys thinking about something called the customer's journey. And you're gonna maybe not draw right now. You might have to draw on your own time.
We're gonna do WhatsApp for customer journey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So everybody pull up WhatsApp, the group that we have.
Hi.
The Open October group, and I'm gonna say stuff. I'm gonna say it really fast. Please just send it there, into the chat. Right now we're doing this because we want you to plan the journey of your customer before we can show you the tools of how to bring it to life, right? You already pictured what it's going to look like in 2030, what's going to happen, the feelings that you're going to feel. Now we want you to picture that journey for your customer and actually write it down, but we're going to do it on WhatsApp. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, first prompt is coming. You're only getting a minute to answer this, so type really fast. First thing is, list all and any actions that you'd like your customer to take while engaging with your business. You have 1 minute to type this out. Lower the hi, hello, okay. Any and all actions you want your customer to take. Nice. I want my customers to engage others in critical thought and question their own beliefs. That's really good, George. Being self-driven, independent, having a growth mindset, being excited to learn something new through the process. Good.
So I was actually wondering what kind of what kind of action can I actually do to get a growth mindset? You know what I mean? Like on a daily, like what would, if I'm like, am I posting something? Am I doing something in my real life? Like, what are the actual thinking before they speak? Yashka, I like that too. And
I think that a lot of times when you're like doing something and you're like consistently failing along the way, but then you eventually like succeed at the end, I think that process helps people like really develop a growth mindset.
Okay, so let's put that into like, actionable, like these things are like more actionable than you think, like on a website or on a platform or on like a service. Like watching somebody like fail and then try it again is like kind of a cool activity that could go on with like high schoolers that you could like run.
Yes. Yeah. So, look at how Shaheen has described, and also Ibukin, how she has described what she would do. Those are more action-oriented things. So try to think more in terms of actions.
Nice. Establishing their network. Nice, if you can.
Okay, everybody, 1 minute is over. We're going to do the second one. What would you ask your customer as they first meet you or they first log in? What would you ask them to get them situated? Nice, Yashika. This is the first impression you want to make on your customer. It's also the first thing you want them to think about when they enter your, when they first use your product, or when they first enter your website, or when they first enter whatever it is that you've made. How do you want them to feel? Hmm. Whether or not they have challenged thought before they log in. That's really good, George. Oh, sign an agreement. Like a terms of use kind of thing. That's pretty good. What's your favorite subject? That's nice, Jamie. That gets them thinking a little bit about that kind of stuff as well. Yeah.
Want your user to feel like it's customized to them, and their experience is like your product like knows them. You know what I mean? When you like log into Medium and it asks you like pick 5 interests, then it's like feeding you those 5 interests continuously. You feel like, okay, this is me. This is my desktop. This is my world here that I've created, and that's a really good feeling that you want a customer to have. I like that. Jaylene,
Yeah, it's all about personalizing stuff. If that's the first thing you do when they enter, they will remain attached to your product because it becomes theirs. Really good. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one now. So this one's gonna be fun. Send a GIF to show what your customer would feel at the beginning and at the end of using your product.
Wait, a separate one for beginning and end, or the same one for both?
You can do 2 if you want. That's fine.
Okay.
You have two. It's so cute. Yachika. Is that at the end of the product or is that in the beginning? Like them being rebellious and disrespectful in the beginning. George.
yeah, it's kind of good. Like, get that disclaimer.
I like Jaylene's after. What?
Oh. Oh my God. This is a weekend after.
Before. After is freedom.
Yeah, yes. Oh, I haven't thought about playing it in a while. It's like flying. Cool. Oh my God.
Okay, good job. Let's do the 4th one. When your customer first starts using your product, how do you get them to come back for a second time? So this is really important. Even after they do whatever actions they do, how do you make sure they come back to do that stuff again? What do you think is going to keep them engaged, keep them attached? What are those specific things? Personalized prompts. Okay,
Yeah,
Jay,
yeah, I like that.
that's cool. That's really good.
Where are those coming from though? Is it automated? Is it something that like everybody gets to respond to, or like the prompt is like meant for me because of my bad, whatever, like whatever my habits are, I guess. Jaylene's is a bit of like being forgetful in school and stuff like, or not being forgetful, but like getting kind of reminders. So Jaylene, why don't you share? I'm sorry, this is like a little off the wire, Sean. Go ahead, Jaylene.
It's really good. All these things that are coming up right now, you know what you need to go deeper into next and what you need to expand on next. This is a starting point. Achievements and letting them feel that they too are good at many things. That's really good, Gia. Making them feel self-sufficient. Give them, but what are the specific actions you're going to do to make them feel that way? I like that you've identified the feeling, but what is it that will get that feeling out? And, how will people actually come back because of that feeling?
Yeah. Right. Like, what am I checking? A lot of times you want them to like have a reason to come check back on something, or if they set a goal and they did it, like they get credit for it. They want to be able to like have that known and recorded on your product or app or whatever it is. Nice. You can like, what does the community look like? Like where, what kind of interactions will keep happening?
Oh, hey, Blessed just joined us. Nice. I will show them a process that they can believe in, a process that inspires and motivates them to go down that path. Yeah. Helpful to think more about how specifically you can create that motivation.
It can be, you guys think as simply as like, I hate to use Instagram because like, well, screw it though. We're using the features of Instagram for better purposes. What makes you want to like open it back up? Like realistically, what makes you want to open it back up?
Positive feedback loops and stuff.
Yeah. If I see that people have like said something or like said something controversial, like gets me like wanting to talk about the topic more, I come back. And you can think of like what kind of notification would get me to come back and like keep adding to it.
Yeah, Shane, he's like giving them serotonin and boost with her notifications.
Oh my God. Yeah. Real.
I like it.
That is a very real thing that we feel in our brains when we see some people responding to us.
Okay, we're doing the next one. How might you have customers interact with one another while using your product? What is the vibe or the environment you're going to be in and be creating with your product? So how will you get them to talk to each other as well? And what will the general environment be like? Sharing ideas mainly. That's good. It's really good. So sharing ideas will help them feel more connected to each other. Try to think about how that would actually look. In what format are they sharing these ideas? Chat board or feedback station. That's good, Blessed. Socializing, learning through communities. Learning through communities is really powerful. So you're basically gonna do something like organize them into different learning communities based on what they want to learn. So that could be really good, Armita. Feel free to speak about this stuff, guys. Like,
yeah.
you can speak about it. That's fine.
Feedback station, chat board, nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes getting people to open up about something is like, it's like harder at first than you think, but once you do it, people like go crazy. Like if one person opens up about something vulnerable, it's like 3 others can also like, and you don't need, at that point they're there to like learn about each other and you're just the vessel.
Judgment-free environment. That's great. opportunities to tell anonymous hardships is also really good.
Huh. Anonymous is really important. I was actually talking to a student who said that sometimes she types out like something about her emotions for School of Future, but then deletes it because it's not anonymous. So just really something to like think about, like those moments when people want to like say something, or people sometimes just want to read what other people are saying. And like, here's another thing, you guys, like if I see something really cool that Shamshir said, if the app never has me see Shamshir again, then I'm just like, that connection's gone. Like, how do you bring back that connection? How do you make me and Sham like see each other again? Like if I see something that she did, I see that something she's posted an article, like, I don't know, whatever's relevant.
Okay, so we're at the end of this round. Good job, everybody. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do the next thing. Prototype.
The tools. I don't think we'll have time for the customer journey.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to the tools.
This is something, you guys, that I'm just going to go talk for a hot second, because kids overthink this. It's like crazy how much you guys overthink the customer journey, but it's wildly important. And so I'm going to show you on the app itself, on the platform. This is Sahibjeet. He was in our original cohort, and here he is in person with us pitching his business idea to students at a school. And Alter is his product. And basically Alter is a place where it's an app where you can like basically, if you see that a business is harming the environment, you report it to Alter. That's as simple as it is. So what does that look like? This is something that he drew, basically, where an average citizen witnesses the way a restaurant is harming the environment. She snaps a photo of it. Step 2, she posts the complaint into Alter, tagging the restaurant, and describing what she saw. This is important. The complaint is categorized with other complaints of like restaurants, like throwing away garbage or wasting food. It's categorized. Then she scrolls through the discussion and sees that there are alternatives. Like, what are other restaurants doing to avoid this exact problem? And how can she, like, Pizza Rut is the name of this restaurant. Pizza Rut gets involved and starts to like they've been getting backlash and like they've been hurting and stuff. This is your ideal world. And that way, like, Pizza Hut is forced to change their ways and like adopt a new habit that another restaurant is also using. So that's a very, very simple like customer journey, and it shows like both customer segments being random customer and then Pizza Hut owner. So you want to show like those little steps that you might have like an idea that's super vague in your head. Just draw and write out these little steps. The customer journey is wildly important, and I think a lot of kids overthink it and get intimidated by it, but it is as simple as this. So you guys will do this later because we have only 20 minutes today. But I just wanted to make that feel like less intimidating, and like drawing that out for yourself. You're going to see holes and gaps in your idea that you hadn't before. And that's beautiful. Like, you have to like lay it out for yourself and see those holes and gaps. Okay, now here's the part where Sham and I are probably going to talk too much, and we really want to say sorry, but there's a lot of really cool tools out there. I want you guys to take notes and write down any of these tools that you like, because you're going to try out like 2 or 3 of these. That's like standard. You're going to try out, and like, again, in very small stakes ways, you're going to try the idea as soon as you can. We can literally get you 3 people tomorrow that could like be your like tester customers. So think about how you want to try your ideas using these tools that we're about to explain.
Yeah. Also keep in mind what we just discussed with your customer journey. Which of these tools will make the customer feel that way, and try to select the tools on the basis of your customer journey.
Yes, thank you for adding that part right now. This is one that's probably like, kids get intimidated by this, but it's literally like anybody can do it. Hosting a live session, and you can watch footage of Salma hosting a women empowerment bootcamp, Suvir hosting a session about like his product Curio. And so honestly, I'm telling you guys, like we can help you prep for this, and it's a series of like 3 or 4 activities. You can run it with like between like 3 to 15 students, however many you want, but really a good way to not just like talk, but like get them to do an activity. This activity might be something that you end up putting into your like product. Like for George, if you want to like put up a Google Doc and have people like commenting on an article and get people like, you start the conversation in real life, or not in real life, but in the Zoom session with people. You see what actually clicks, what they like, what's awkward, what's not, what's confusing, and that helps you progress to the next phase of how can you actually put that into a scalable product. So hosting a live session is honestly, at this point, I honestly think each of you guys will end up doing this. So just know that, and you should watch some of this footage. We'll send you this website in a sec because it has like links to each of these kids' prototypes. Here's another one that I love, and it gets a little bit underutilized. It's called customer samples. So like if you're solving like mental health, or you're solving something with climate change, you can literally ask like 2 or 3 of your friends to send you like voice notes or check-ins like twice a day, and be like, hey, send me, like, you can send them at 2 p.m. Say, hey, send me a voice note right now. What's your mood? Send me a voice note right now. What kind of trash have you disposed of that you regret and feel bad about? Like, you want to get a pulse on people's actual habits. You want to get a pulse on the way that they're like living their life. And you want them to do it like on the fly. So it's like very realistic, and they're not just like talking. So customer, it's very simple too. Like you can just say like, over the next 7 days, you're going to be one of my customers. I'm going to like check in with you at random times, and you're going to send me voice notes at random times. And it gets you a ton of information. You can run this on Discord as well. We've had students like run something like that on Discord, and like getting people to like chat in. Bhumika did something here about like an activity called The Other Me. I'm not going to get too far into that, but like people like want to share about themselves. Another amazing favorite of mine called Customer Pairings. And this is, Katarina was the winner of, if you guys saw the last expo, Esther was in her pairing. Oh my God, yeah. So Esther, do you want to tell us about Katarina's pairing? Like the fact that she paired you and Layla up for like a series of 7 days, and what that was like.
Yeah,
And welcome.
it was actually very, it's very eye-opening. Like you never really get to see what another person like not necessarily goes through, but like how their culture is, how they live their life without. Like this program really helped me see that like not all like this color race is the same. Like they're not only like they're actually very different, and you never really get to it really helped me see like, okay, they don't all eat just like crackers and cheese, or like they don't all just do one thing certain. Like it really helped me see how other people can actually be like, or how they have to experience other things, and what things we have in common, and what views that we share the same or different.
Yeah, I love that you guys had a good time with it, but like I'm gonna logistic wise though, like Katarina had you guys do like a scavenger hunt, like, right? You guys met and like you did a one-on-one consultation with Katarina, Layla did a one-on-one consultation with Katarina, then there was like a session with all 3 of you. Like walk us through that just like briefly if you could.
Okay, so the first meeting I had with her, I was just like getting to know her, and then I would make a video explaining myself and like a couple things about me, and then Layla did the same thing, and then we exchanged videos with each other. And then when we first had our first meeting together, it was like kind of, uneasy because we don't know each other, we just know each other from the videos. But then actually Layla, like she's a great person. Like we added each other on other profiles too, and like walking through the program with her, it was very like settling to know, okay, I'm not the only person like walking just through this like uneasy, like we're both getting there.
Nice. Right, and I think you guys went out and did this scavenger hunt. Like Katarina assigned, like pick out different things in your neighborhood, like picture wise. Like there's a picture of Layla, like doing her own makeup, and like some stuff in your neighborhood. It's like kind of cool.
It was a list of things that we could choose from, and like I know Katarina, I know Layla did like her like the parks and stuff, and I did like stuff in my room and different things. Like it was like a whole list that you got to choose from.
Yeah. So for any, I mean, obviously you guys would do your own topic if you were to choose customer pairings, but you can give them a series of like activities for maybe just 3 days, maybe 2 weeks, depends on what you want. But like seeing how you can get 2 people to bond really shows you how you can, again, do that in like a larger scale way. Sean, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, I think I want to say something with the previous one too, with Yashika's idea. You can use that. Try to think about how you can use that, because your project is really relevant for that. With all the pairings you've made, you've sent them to me already. They're really good. So try to think about how you can actually watch these pairings interact with each other in real time, and what can you plan for them, and achieve the goal that you want to achieve with your business on a small scale first, and then try to build something bigger about it. I think that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Like Mahit did his with like an LGBTQ person and a non-LGBTQ person, and had them like, he did like a Zoom sessions with the two of them like over the course of 2 weeks, and had them go out and do different things and like share personal things about themselves, and like saw what was awkward, what was hard to overcome, and what was like what actually made them connect. And so then you can like do more of that. It's a really good experience.
Yeah. Let's do the next thing. So explainer videos. I feel like if your business, has a process that you feel like, you need to explain that to your customers. So some people have like these really long processes that they create. But even if you don't have that, like even if you just want to show people what you're all about, what your business is all about, really helpful to make a video on it rather than write paragraphs and paragraphs and put it on your website, because nobody reads that stuff. Honestly, like nobody goes through it. Try to explain your business with a 60-second video. You can use like graphics and things that actually catch people's attention and that remain in their brain. Try to tell the story of your business, how that can help people who are going to use it, and just use that to explain stuff. Really, that's an explainer video. Feel like everybody can benefit from making one, so don't feel like you can't use it. I feel like everybody can use it to explain a certain process or something in their business. How can a customer use it and things like that.
Yeah, because sometimes your ideas are like sometimes complicated, and you can just like show people that in 30 seconds, or a graphic sometimes works. Social media, you guys get what that really is. I don't need to spend time on this. Like you can create buzz for like events that you're hosting, like live events. Like Sagnik hosted these like actors sessions, and so he would like, there's me and Shamshir being featured as the judges for his event. And so you can obviously make a social media account. You're gonna do more than just a social media account though at the end of the day, obviously, but there is that one.
Yeah, but social media will help you create a buzz for any event you want to do. Try to get as many people as possible on Instagram. Try to hype it up, even if you haven't really done anything yet with the event. It's like in the future. But the more buzz you create, you're building an audience. So, and that audience is also going to, they might turn into your customers. So try to use social media from that perspective. And okay, build a website. I feel like everybody should do this in some shape or form. But then there's been, like, we don't want it to be like, oh, my website is my entire product. That can never happen, because anybody can create a Wix site. I can make a Wix site in 2 hours, like right now. That's not a project. That's just something you're creating to, for people to come back to for all the resources they can find for your business. But it's not your whole thing. Your business is what you're doing when you actually interact with customers and you actually make them do stuff, and like that's what they get things out of. So everybody should have a website on Wix. It's very easy to do, very fast, but you have to add on real customer interaction to your website, or like have to connect that somehow to your product where people are actually doing stuff. Otherwise it's just going to be a website.
Yeah, I mean, your website is important. Like it can be a quick, like, here's about me. You can put forums on there. You can put like, as Shamshir said, customer testimonials is really cool. Like like if you get one friend to try your idea, put an example of what a customer does up onto your like about me, or sorry, like your Wix site. That's like one of the most powerful things you can do with this. But it's true. Like don't overthink this part either. Like really just show what your like company does and have like that part be clear to an audience.
Yeah.
This is if you're doing a more complicated like app. If you're doing something, this is amazing. This tool is called Marvel. And again, we're going to like send you this so that you have like the Marvel is here. And you can just click on Sarah's, because this is like, you can hand draw it and make it as like crummy as you want, because it's more about like, you can put the buttons everywhere in this. And so it kind of gives you a feel like you want your friends to test it out like really quickly. If your app is more complicated in terms of like, you want them to go from this page to this page to create like, I know we don't like have time for this. Sorry. I'm just like opening this up, but they basically like Sarah's is really unique. And so like motivation on the spot, you click it, and she added all these buttons herself. Like, yes, no, Yes, the sunshine. Like it's really fun that you have a ton of freedom to put your buttons wherever you want. And so like, and again, she did this in like a couple hours and then had friends who were able to like try it out for her and tell like, does this make sense? Like, do you know where to go next? Do you know where to click? Is it like engaging you is it enticing you to want to like click more things and stuff like that? Because just a fast way before you go in and like really make an intense website, it's doing something like this is like much more easy. I hope my screen is still being shared. And that leads us to Figma, which is like a bit more difficult to use if you want to. Figma gives you a lot of freedom, but it's a lot more like Adobe in that sense that there's like, you can put your buttons wherever you want. You can make your website however you want, but it's obviously a bit more difficult than doing something like Wix, but it gives you more freedom as to like, where do you want customers to click and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's just Canva, but you can click on it.
I think it's harder than Canva because you have to like make your own squares. Like Canva gives you such like beautiful designs and you just like change the text in the picture. Whereas like this, you're starting from like a blank slate, basically.
Yeah.
This one is cool because, and this will happen on your Wix site. This is easy to do actually, but a forum. A lot of cool forums have been out there about like just you put up like 3 questions and get people to like respond to each other. Really fun, especially if you host a webinar, then you're like, all right, everybody get onto the forum. We have a 2-week like challenge. You can kind of embed all these together because you like that whole customer retention thing. How do you get customers to interact? How do you get them to come back? Forums are great. Forums are very like, and again, this is something so easy. You have 3 questions in your head, make a forum on your Wix site. It's really easy. Eco-free, this is an e-commerce page. And again, like this Wix and all these websites offer templates for this kind of thing. Brianna's is amazing here, but even before she had the products ready, she made the e-commerce page to show like, to get a head count as to how many people want the cupcake kit, how many people want the pasta, how many people want the eco toiletry kit. And so just putting that up there and like showing like what your product does and seeing like how people react to it is pretty cool. Sagnik was also amazing here. He hosted sessions for actors, but then he also realized like, wow, people are loving this. Let me put up like a pricing plan on my website. And so people could choose like 200 rupees for 1 session, 350 rupees for 4 weeks. And so just like, again, getting a pulse as to like what people want, and you can even start to charge people money if you're running some really good sessions. You can start to make pricing plans for that. This one is my like favorite, and it's really underutilized because the technology is quite hard and you don't have to make the technology happen yet, but I call it Pinterest for your interest, because you guys you know that the algorithms on YouTube and Spotify and Pinterest, they watch everything that you like they keep track of the 5 things that you liked, and then it starts to give you more of that. Like, right? It's like basic technology that we're all used to, but you guys are using it for good now. Like if you're doing something with education, if you're doing something with mental health, you can like really, like Sarah did, like based on the 5 quotes that you chose out of the 50, the technology would know the type of person that you are. It would be able to feed you more tips or feed you more activities that are relevant to your persona. So you can really, I suggest this. I suggest like having a wide range of whether it's motivational quotes or pictures or activities, and watching to see what kind of customer likes what kind of activity and what that really means, and start to like categorize them. You want your customer to feel special and recognized. For if I enter Jaylene's education website and I say that my weaknesses are these 3 things, what are you going to give me to like help me with those 3 things? How do you customize that for me? I've seen kids use this for other like social justice issues, and I just love it. Use that creepy algorithm for good.
All about like really looking at the products that you use and you like, picking out the features that they have, which you know that they make life easier for you, that they keep you coming back. But take that feature, put it into your idea and use it for better. That's really what it is.
Which is a bit similar to this. As I talked about, like when you enter medium.com, you clicking education, science, nature, and then it's getting you those articles. Very, very simple. And you can like apply that to what your topic is. Whether it could be anxieties, like that's what Isha's Silent Healers was like. These are my 3 anxieties. Like, get me advice on those topics. And I hope you guys are interpreting this for whatever like your idea is. Like, it can go. Hopefully, it's going into your own direction. Yeah. Oopsie. I didn't mean to touch that. That's the last one. Okay, sorry, we do apologize. We gave a disclaimer that we were going to talk a lot, but there's 12 tools right there. Hopefully you guys took some notes. Sham, shall we have people like kind of share out what they are thinking, or what do you want to do next?
Yeah, so I think for the next 10 to 15 minutes, we can stay on this call. We have time, don't worry. We can do that. And we want every single person here to, set out, sort of maybe take 5 minutes to think, or to some time to think, and set out the tools that you want to use. And we're going to write these things down because we want accountability. We want you to like actually action this stuff, right? Not just think about it, not just talk about it. That's what we're here for. That's what entrepreneurs do. You're going to action this stuff as soon as you can. Like, we're not going to.
I don't think we use hashtag send your first draft is like our slogan, because like it's so, you guys want to be perfect, but like honestly, send the first ugly draft that you have so we can give feedback and you can move from there. It's a shame if you spend 8 hours perfecting something. Don't do that. Let us see what it looks like so we can give feedback and you can like move accordingly.
Yeah, let's try to set goals for everybody that's here. I'm going to make a page for it. So while I make that page, we can start talking about it. Anybody who has something on their mind already? Everyone's making a website, right? That's a given. We're not going to talk about that. Website is probably the first thing you can start and get it done. It's not going to take you any time. Just, block out 3 hours of your life to build that website and it's done. So that's something everybody has to do. But other than the website, what, according to the ideas that you have planned, the unique customer journey you have planned. Yeah, I see you raising your hand.
I have a question. How are we going to choose our names? Because I don't know about anyone else, but I don't have a name for what I'm doing yet.
That's a very good question. And that's like a super exciting thing too. It's going to be happening next week, I think, right?
Okay.
Yeah, there's an activity. Yeah. We have an activity that we do with you guys, but names come to you guys at random times. Like, just keep yourself open to like, I would keep like a list of just like words that you feel are like relevant to what you're solving and your like what your product does. And like, you can like rearrange them in different orders and come up with something.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If I wanted to add like some sort of podcast, like an informative podcast, what do you think would be the best way to add that to my problem, to like the issue that I'm solving?
I think that like, and that, I mean, adding it can be something that you just do on the side that like what Avishi has done is she had like a mental health app, and she basically asked people like whatever topics they wanted, she incorporated into the podcast. That's brilliant. Like, you can involve like your customers that way by incorporating what they were wondering and putting it into your like podcast summary or flow, or like create like the flow for your podcast.
Okay.
Is there a way to find app developers? Because I'm not exactly familiar with coding and stuff, so I'd like to be able to find people who would help me with that.
George, that's exactly why we want you to try it with one of these tools that doesn't have to involve coding. Like, whatever you like want to build, do it without hiring somebody to code for you right away.
But ma'am, how then can I make an algorithm?
How do you what?
How do I make an algorithm without coding?
That's where we like, it's a bit manual at first. Like, you're really collecting like a lot of like, Sarah collected all these different like motivational quotes, and she like watched her friends pick out like 5 of them, and then she would kind of like decide what's that person's need right now. And so you're going to do this a little bit manually at first. Like, that's like part of like how to figure it out, because you don't know how to organize the algorithm until you've like watched people like interact with what's there.
But I already know which ones are different from what
Honestly,
people need.
I don't think you do until you watch people use it and like run something with like between 3 to 15 people and see how they are reacting, and then from there, then you know that it like is legitimate.
Okay. But I would still need to use code for that because I can't be going through all my customers and finding what every one of them doesn't like.
Like I said, I would suggest having like between 3 to 10 customers and like seeing, like getting a feel for them and like getting a feel for what they click and choose. Tell us what your idea is. Like, I mean, what you like want to, how you want to test it out, I guess.
How I want to test it out. Well, first I'm doing my surveys, of course, finding what people think about the media and its role to play in government and stuff, thinking about how people stay informed in this new digital age. I want to make sure that people don't just get fed what they already agree with. I want to make sure that they're challenged in thought, and I want to make sure that the algorithm makes sure that it sees that. So if you're inclined to see right-winged, if you're inclined to agree with right-aligned content, I might send you something from the BBC or something from AP to get your mind in other places. And if you're in left-wing thought, I might get you a little bit of right-wing content. So challenge what you've already thought. It might not be pleasant at first, but it's going to really be important in combating misinformation. And I think that's what will really appeal to my customers. So I want to make sure that I don't end up having to do that manually because I know that'll take a lot of time and I might get things wrong. And I just want to make sure that it's not something that is subject to a person's opinion on what is right and what is wrong. It should be something that is unbiased. That's the point of my whole website and app.
To kind of add on to that, I kind of get what you're trying to say, but I kind of think it's like TikTok. Like TikTok, you never like on your For You page, you never really know what you're gonna get. But there's also a following page that has people that you most likely agree with, which is why you want to see more of their content. I feel like if you do it like that, it'll kind of make more sense to what you're aiming for. Like if you have like the same like TikTok, like a For You page and the following page, depending on what your problem is, if you on the For You page or your just like explore page, you can give them like all sorts of stuff, but you can also have a page where it'll just be the stuff that they would want to see, if that makes sense.
See, that's exactly the problem. A lot of these social media platforms are aiming to make money and profits. I'm not trying to do that. That's not my core central. I'm trying to inform people so that we can actually get forward as a society. I'm making sure that I don't end up like TikTok and Instagram. I want to make sure that people don't see in their what you might like page exactly what they will like and maybe a little bit more to the extreme. That is the opposite of what I'm fighting, the opposite of what I'm trying to do. So no, I will not have a suggested For You page because it goes against the very foundation of the misinformation thing.
So I think that George, like I know the manual thing sounds like a lot, but I actually think it'll be more insightful than you going through creating all of it. Like I really feel like what you should do is have at least 3 people with very different political views or different like needs, whatever. And I know I agree with you. You feel bad being like, by chance I'm just picking out the articles that they should read, but like you'll get a lot of insight as to like what that you'll naturally kind of know some things about like what you want that person to read and like what they're feeling. And you can like work with those 3 people over the series of like a couple of weeks and provide like see how they react to different articles, see how they like like you want to watch the way that they are, you want to be as close to your first customers as possible. It's the most insightful thing you could do, but like watch the way that they react to articles. What are some of the like the questions in the like right when they like ask it, what are they questioning about those articles? Get close to them. Like this might be something you conduct one-on-one or in like a session, but then like facilitate them to react to the articles and like request more information or what else do they want to look at next. And I hope that I don't think that would be, and you can use, I don't know, you're the one creating what's going to be the protocol. You're the one creating that right now. And if you can use resources to create that protocol, but like, don't feel bad about, you're just trying things right now. You're trying to give them the best experience. You're trying to give them the article that will help them like in that exact moment. And sometimes you do know, sometimes you'll have to utilize other tools to find out what like they should get basically.
Yeah. So you can do this in a live session. You have to do this to study, human behavior, just basic stuff before you can actually do it on your website in a big scalable way, before you're investing so much time or even maybe money into like making this whole thing come to life. You have to see how it works with fewer people and how they react to the stuff that you're giving out to them. Do it in a smaller setting first, then think bigger. So
And honestly, George, actually,
I've already seen how they've reacted on other platforms like Twitter and Instagram. I know when they're fed things that are good to them, they will obviously click on it and go further to the right or to the left, or maybe just not understand what's going on. And
that's what
I
I
know
love
that
about your. So finish. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, it's okay. So I was just saying that, like, if you're suggested something that's not agreeing with you, you're less likely to click on it.
Yeah.
And I know that already. I'm just learning from what people know, from what
that's what
people
you've seen in the past, and that's what you want to stop from happening. So that's what you're testing. You're going to be giving somebody who like some Republican person an article that they don't want to read, and you're watching to see what they do, and you're watching to see what they say. You're watching to see what their questions are. You're watching to see like what they question and what they want to do next, how they might interact with somebody else. You get to watch that stuff very, very upfront and close. It's different from what you've seen on Twitter. I love it. What you've seen on Twitter and things like that has angered you, and you're doing the reverse of it. And that's amazing. But you want to watch them as closely as possible as they go through these painful and non-painful moments. And that's where I think like we can arrange for you to have those, like, I would start with 3 people who have very different viewpoints, and like you can put them into activities and watch them react basically, and give them the articles that would not be what they want, because that's the complete point of your product.
Yeah. Okay.
I know some people that'll be willing, actually.
I've written that down as one of your goals, George. Okay, you have to create either a live session or some kind of activities or whatever you want to do to achieve this goal that we just discussed. Okay, great. Somebody has a goal. Who else wants goals? Like, do you have anything in mind? Anybody? Or if George, you can think over what else you want to add as well. Let's try to get somebody else to speak first.
I'll definitely add forums.
Good. So I will add that with your website.
Actually, you've had so many like amazing questions and thoughts and things you want people to do. I like want to see, like, you want to conduct an activity of that sort with people. Like, how do you want to go about that?
If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
I would, I'll have to think about this.
But if something, the pairings that you've created and sent to me, you're going to interview them. But how are you going to observe what happens between them in real time?
Am I not be like, will I not be able to see the interviews or like analyze the thing?
You can see their interviews when they're individually being interviewed. But the point is that you want to put these two people together in some way, right? That is your idea. You want them to have an understanding. So like how does that happen in a smaller setting is a question maybe you should also try to see, because it could help a lot.
Maybe have a random generator to pair you up with and have a chat, like anonymous chat, so that you can get to know about the person. And then there can be some some questions that pop up so that you can discuss it together, like, because they're 2 random people, they don't know about each other, but I as the website person would know their interests, so I can just put up a question which they can discuss anonymously and just share views.
Good, really good. So that's definitely an idea. How, is this going to be something you observe over a period of time, or is this something you will do just on one particular instance?
They can just select their interest, and then we can move forward, like just on the first day we can do this, then we can move ahead and see what their interests are. Like, we can also observe them but also allow them to select, like, manually. First,
Yeah.
you can select your interest, then we can just have an observation, like an algorithm, like YouTube and all. They observe what you like and then move ahead.
So this is something you want to build out after you observe people going through the prompts that you've created, right? The algorithm that you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So this is going to be something that leads to that. But the first baby step is going to probably be this random generator thing you mentioned, right? Random generator. And then you're going to have prompts, pairing these people up, having them chat with each other anonymously. So, will you be observing how they interact, what they talk about? Would you do that for, say, one moment in time, or would you want to keep observing how they're interacting with each other for a week?
I feel it would not be very good to read chats between two people. So we can also do that in the forum, but and doing that in a long term will not actually be very fruitful because I will be feeding the questions at times, and I want it to be more organic. But in the beginning only, I'll be doing that, like the observing part. Then I think I can move ahead and allow them to just be there and interact without me being there.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, I see yours as one that's like I wanted more and more like the more moments from their real life that are like embedded, the better. Like the more they can like so you had said something like manually they decide, but they could also like based on like little things that happen to them in real life, maybe they're put into like some category too. I'm not sure how we go about that, but like if they can share moments from their real life, that's like ideal. Because I know that you had like said things like that in the past too about like moments of disrespect that they've encountered. And
I'll find something like some part of the website which can just allow you to anonymously share about an incident, and then we can have a talk about it, like how you could have reacted, what you could have done, and what to do in the future. Like there are people who think about what they could have said in an argument and they couldn't, but that is not really fruitful. What we can do is change your behavior, how you feel about that argument now.
I like that. I like that, like before and after, like taking a pulse. Yeah, go ahead, George.
I was just thinking about how I was going to like create jobs on my website. Like I wanted to employ people once I got bigger, not right now, but just in hindsight, I just wanted to think about how I could get experts onto my site or people who wanted to like publish information based on non-biased sources. Like they could take from AP information and then publish their own take on it and put it onto the website as non-biased information, and also get discussions going with experts on the forum so that people know what's happening and can debate with it. So I was just wondering where I could like find people like that and hire them.
Anybody have ideas? I mean, in terms of like, I don't think of you should look for where right now, but like what would be enticing if I'm a professional writer or somebody who's involved in politics? What would make me want to come to this platform and like make my make my name
A good
there?
cause.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good cause and a unique selling point from Twitter. Like it's a different place than Twitter, and like people like will flock to that in some form. And no, like too, like there's people that are like, I can't wait to interact with somebody who has the opposite political view than me. I can't wait. And I can't wait. And I'm willing to like suffer the pain, but also like learn a lot. So that kind of person comes. But I think journalists and like political people will want to make a name for themselves naturally if it's going well and it's like something unique and different that's happening. I think that they like you can kind of establish profiles for them as to like what they've done in the past and like make them feel not just elite, but like recognize that they are somebody who's like done really good stuff in the past.
I guess we can do that with a random generator. Pair people who have opposite interests and views and let them talk.
Yeah.
Really good. So,
but I think your process of getting to that, like the opposite views is going to be kind of like tough too. Like you want to make sure that you're just like asking them subtle questions that you get a sense of who they are so that you can pair them properly. Of course, we can pair you up with like two sofas who we know are like quite different from each other, and that can be fun.
Okay, let's try to have other people go as well. We have a few minutes left, so whoever is ready to go. Okay, Shane, let's hear from you.
Okay. I know this was quite a while ago. I was just gonna say something about Esther's podcast idea. Like I had an idea for a podcast as well, and I was going to like once there's more people in the community, Like, wait, can you still hear me? My screen blacked out.
Oh.
Oh, no, it's fine. Okay, sorry. So like I can interview women who has gone through like experiences. Like I can interview them, and I feel like if that got turned into podcast and somebody listened to it, like it could make people feel less alone and more confident that they can like go forward no matter what they experience. So maybe like Esther could interview people about their experiences with racism and the system, and maybe people can feel less alone and people can put forward ideas on how to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I just if I may ask the question, how would you think I would like, because like I can't really do it in person anymore because of the whole COVID situation, but how would you think I would like the bare minimum like equipment that I would need to just start it off? How would you think I would like get people to talk on it, or like how do an interview with me? Because I feel like if I do it through Zoom, it won't be like, it's not, I don't know how would it connect it to connect it, but like how would people hear me if you've done it before?
You could do like a YouTube live sort of thing, or like a Facebook live, like Instagram live sort of thing, so people can be like asking questions as you're speaking with them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to do that stuff. We're gonna discuss channels of how you can put this out as well. But you're definitely podcast.
So I was going to say for shying, I was going to say I thought was like a cool thing you could do is like you could have like people's experiences in like STEM at like different stages. So you could have like someone who maybe is doing like, I don't know, biology A level, someone who's doing it at university, someone who's like in work already. Like, so you can see how different people are feeling like different stages of their like career.
Ooh, good.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. I maybe also like a forum where is it possible to make a forum where they can ask the questions, so and other people who maybe are more experienced in the field can help answer them, and maybe like my vision is in the future like people can keep more in contact and have like more of a mentor-mentee kind of relationship with each other, so people like can go to them if they have any questions, can talk to each other if they like want reassurance from something, and be able to have a role model they can look up to, because I think that's a lot of the problem.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds great. How do you think before doing this forum, what would you do to get people on the forum? Is like are you gonna find real people, real customers, and get them on the forum right away, or would you do something to get them situated, some kind of a session or anything that's on your mind?
I mean, I think obviously Instagram and websites good idea, but I think a live session could work. Yeah.
Let's do that live session. You can think about what try to think about what exactly this would look like. Who are you going to call to this session? The persona of the people that should be there at this session, and what is it that you will organize for them? Like, how would you facilitate it, and how would you connect that to your idea, your business, your forum? The ultimate goal being that you want to get them there in the end. So how would you facilitate people in the session to understand what you're doing and want to join in on what you're doing? Is how you would probably have to think about it. Is there something else that you want to do as well? Think big. There's like 12 tools that you can use. You've used maybe I think 2 or 3 of them. So you can keep thinking on this. But okay, let's start with 3 maybe, and you keep thinking about it. There's so much. Like, we're gonna share that slide again. Just think of more ideas. Okay, whoever wants to go next, let's do that.
I had 2 other ideas, and my other one was to make like an educational class where people can sign up to come and learn about it, because as like obviously I'm still a minor, so I can't really do anything about the really big issues that are like going on in systematic racism. But I feel like if I could teach people about to know their rights, because I feel like a lot of people of color, even when I was doing my interviews with other people, a lot of them seem not to know like the actual, like they don't know like their actual rights. And as a young person of color, that actually scares me, because like something could be happening which is completely unlawful, and like you'll just let it happen because you don't know your rights. So my first idea was to have like an educational class, like whether it be on Zoom or anything, just to like, you know, like have some cahoots or like have a session of teaching and then have a session of quizzing, and to see like, you know, and even if like to make it a competition to see if it'll make them want to do it more. And then my other idea was to just have like a blog where we could just all talk about it, because I know there's people that have got into instances of racial discrimination or by the cops, or just people in general. They could just talk about it and have a safe place to talk about it, because I know some of them it can really be detrimental to their health, to their mental health, and that's another really huge thing. So just having a blog where they could talk about it and feel safe.
Great. Those are some good goals.
Definitely. And definitely think of like blogs and ways for people to like, you have to probe and get them to tell a story. You know what I mean? Like get them to share something. Like it can be harder than we think sometimes, but once you get it started, it's pretty great to get like, what kind of questions and prompts will you ask to get people to open up and share something. I love the idea of like people like exchanging and learning about like what their rights are, and like people will provide stuff for each other if you set it up correctly.
What about YouTube? Can we take advantage of YouTube with our business?
100%. Yeah.
People use YouTube a lot to do that stuff. We can probably share some videos with you of a lot of students who've used YouTube to, you know, make their business better or like do stuff with it.
Explain, like do challenges on YouTube, vlogging, or just like showing what it is, or yeah, like YouTube is very, very your friend for people want to like get information that way, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, so Ibukun, Gia, Jaylene, James, Blessed, Armita, who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
So I was gonna say, I was thinking of doing for the timeline of like your different rights, the different laws, different stages. I was thinking of doing like an explainer video for that. So it would be a lot easier for them rather than having to like read through everything. And I was thinking of doing like sort of like a live session, like webinar and things. So like different things people can do, like for like families and friends of people who are going to be released or have been released, like ways to like help them become comfortable, help them, you know, like get them back into like doing jobs and things like that. And I wasn't quite sure where I'm going to go from there, but that was sort of the starting off points I had.
Nice. So
and how should
go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to like run a session for people like right away, or do you want to have a video that you make and like anybody can watch it?
I don't mind running a session and then having like live questions, because it will help me like if I want to ask questions, get more insight, then I can do that.
I like that. And I like establishing who are the different, what are maybe like 3 different personas or like types of issues that people are dealing with like afterwards, and like how you can like address that and maybe like create like a lesson for those 3 individual instances, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
How do you said a lot about community. How do you want them to interact with each other?
I think for me, because I think like straight away, I think I'm probably going to focus on like the younger like community people who are like in like young offenders institutes and things like that. So I think it's sort of like we're saying, like making like a sort of community where people have like mentors and role models, because there's quite a lot of people who don't have that person who has been through the sort of thing they've been through and then come out of it. So I think it's sort of getting that mentorship and that sort of community.
Great.
Yeah, mentors get a lot out of it too. Actually, it like helps reinstill like their values when they are like sharing their story to others.
Yeah. Those are really good goals. Okay. Let's ask Gia, Armita, James. We only have 5 minutes, guys. We have to discuss this soon. Set goals for everybody.
Well, I mean, I'm not really like 100% sure on what my idea is actually going to be yet. Like specifically, so I don't really know if I should think about what I'm going to do next yet.
Okay.
Until I know what my idea is.
Okay, no problem. You can still think of ways to get to a final idea. You can start experimenting with any of these tools to use it as a means to understand what you want to do as well. Like a session can help you get insight on people, which can give you ideas. Think of it that way. It's okay. We don't have to write something right now. If you're not, if you can't come up with something right away, you can definitely take your time to think over it. Let's ask Armita, Blessed, Jaylene.
Yeah, so I also said in the chat, I'm not 100% sure on what I'm gonna like do for sure yet. So I want to wait and then decide.
Okay. And Gia? Gia's not here. Okay. Jaylene? Is Jaylene here?
I think she said on the WhatsApp group chat that she's really noisy where she is, so she can't. I mean, I might don't know whether I might not, but yeah.
Okay. So Jaylene still needs to set her goals. James still needs to set his goals. Armita still needs to set her goals. You guys, you can start with one thing that you want to do next too, right? You don't have to think of every single thing that you want to do with it right now. You can even start by thinking about, if you want to do a live session of some kind, organize a session where you can ask people questions directly to understand what kind of business should you be creating, things like that. Like there are so many things that can help you get to that point.
I think I'll use a short video to explain my business because it might be unclear for some people exactly what they'll get out of it.
Really good. Okay.
I think maybe like I could do some sort of live session, maybe to like kind of like what that's kind of how I found this through an ad for a live session. I think I could kind of do something similar to that, kind of explain what my my business is all about, like what the process is.
Good, great.
Yeah, get them, always show your product through like an activity with everybody, and then that's like, oh, you guys like this activity, cool, you should become a member of this, what I started. And like from there it's like almost a continuation. You've like brought them in and they're ready to like check in and try something and do it again and meet up again and next week, and like you can like really get them through that kind of live session, James, for sure.
Really good. I like that you are jumping into this. And let's see, Armita.
I think that for me, like one idea that I do have is like putting together a few people and seeing how they can learn and interact together. Because like one of my ideas was to create a community where people can kind of like learn from each other and alongside each other. So that's something I would experiment and see how it goes.
So you would want to ideally put people in a group together?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be facilitating them in any way, asking them questions and things like that?
I think I would create like a general structure for how it would go, but like they could take it in any direction they wanted with that.
Yeah, so you want to prompt them into some kind of direction. You obviously don't want to control everything they're saying, but there has to be some thought into, what outcome do you want from their discussion, and what do you want to learn about them specifically? Like at the end of the session, how do you want to leave them feeling? What do you want to leave them with? And, how would that help you with your bigger goal? Is something that you can really structure and plan without like controlling too much of what they're doing. So I'm going to write that here. Great. So this is really important because now everybody knows what everybody's doing. We can all get started on this stuff, feel really motivated and excited because you're finally putting your ideas to life. Start with your website, Instagram if you want. Don't spend too much time on it, but definitely just dive into it and start. Even if you feel like you don't have a name yet, just creating a sort of a homepage, writing down, mission statement, like what am I going to do with this website. Starting with those things is going to help put everything together. So I think everybody can really just jump into it and start trying to at least create the website first.
And showing us like little bits along the way. We're gonna do this thing called like stop, drop, and share your first draft, and just like show like whatever has been established. Like nobody has to feel like bad about like what it looks like at the moment. Like you will be seeing each other's rawness throughout like this process of building this.
What are the best website making websites do you like? Because I know like Wix or like other stuff, but like is there like one that you guys prefer that would be like easier for everybody to use?
I like Wix, to be honest, but here's all the tools are here. I'm putting it into your group chat. You guys had the presentation that we just showed you. We're just giving it to you right here, and all like you can click on past students' projects. You can like utilize like Marvel if you want to like hand draw your app. It's easiest that way. So that one works strikingly is good. WordPress, I think some of them, yeah, they're all up there. Like, if you guys have more tools that you like that we don't even know about, please let us know. We'll add them to the list.
Yeah. Okay, this was a really good session. Some amazing goal setting happened here, and let's follow through with it. That's really important. Let's actually do it. So that's what we're going to leave you with. That's all the stuff that everyone's promised to do. Just go and do it. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Start small, start baby steps. Don't be afraid to share your first draft. And yeah, let's close the session now. Thanks everyone for being here. And
Bye. Thank you.
This has been a really good session. I've quite liked this session.
Great.
See you.
You guys are great. We wish we could like we're sorry we talked so much because you guys are great like to like share with each other. So like try to keep doing that.
I think
Like,
it's great hearing about like everyone's different ideas and projects and like where they see their project going in the future.
Yeah. And it's about to go crazy. Like where you guys will be in 3 weeks is like crazy different. And it's really fun that you're here right now. And like what it's gonna look like after like people have, tried the idea.
Yeah, this is really nice. It's very productive actually. Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
October is like our favorite.
I'm sure you say that to every cohort.
No, we really don't. Everybody has like favorites for different reasons, but you guys are like all stars, like in terms of like getting things.
One cohort where everybody gets things done all the time. So, okay, bye.